So this is what we're going to be making today. As you can see, these are still steaming hot. This makes about 8 in total. Very, very tasty. You can use it for eating Indian curries in particular, but you can also pretty much use them as any kind of flatbread that you want. So get tucked in. These are a lot more flavoursome and a lot more spicy than what you'd expect, so you can eat them by themselves as well. Okay, we better get cooking, I think. Okay, let's have a quick look at our ingredients. We've got our chickpea flour here, then we've got our dry seasonings. We've got salt and pepper, turmeric, ground cumin, and some red chili flakes. Into that we've got some red onion and garlic, which we'll crush. And then an old favourite, obviously, some coriander, some fresh coriander. We're just going to use the leaves, not the stalks, in there, and a little bit of olive oil for cooking later. Right, come on, let's get started. Right, firstly in with 2.5 cups of chickpea flour. 1, 2, and 1/2 cups. 2.5 cups of chickpea flour. Right, let's put our 4 cloves of chopped up garlic in there. And then half a red onion straight in there. Now let's do our dry seasonings. Half a teaspoon of salt, half a teaspoon of ground black pepper. Now a teaspoon of cumin, 1/4 teaspoon of turmeric, and about 1/4 teaspoon of red chili flakes. Right, now I've got all that, we can pop it in there with our other ingredients. And now all we've got to do is chop up some coriander and then add some water. Right, we've got 3 tablespoons of coriander, and then we've got 2 tablespoons of parsley. Now, let's stir this all through before we add our water. And we want 400 mils of water, and we're going to make a little well in the middle, just like that. And let's go and measure out our water. Okay, there's our water. And you can add it all at once if you like, and just incorporate it slowly into the dry ingredients. I'll come back when that's all done. Right, now that's all done, we can cover this and leave it for 20 minutes. Chickpea flour is very dry and it's going to soak up a lot of this moisture. See how thin that looks at the moment? It's really runny. Well, when we come back in 20 minutes, there'll be a big change. Right, to get maximum flavour, we're going to use olive oil, extra virgin olive oil, to make our flatbreads. Now I'm going to heat this up to a medium-high heat, not a high heat, and then we will spoon or cup 1/3 cup of mixture in at a time, and then when we start to see browning around the edges, we'll flip them. You'll see. Right, let's get some mixture into this pan. Here we are, 1/3 cup. Right, we'll just wait for that to cook through and then we'll flip it. Right, here we go. Oh, that's nice and loose in there. I can't do the whole flipping thing without that, but I can do those. So give that, I think it was about 4 minutes on that side, so this side will only be about 2.5 minutes. Then we'll take it out and start stacking it on a plate. So there's our first one. Let's have a taste. Still quite hot. I'll get a fork as well. And let's have a little taste. Oh wow, that is beautiful. Right, so there we are. Hope you enjoyed watching this. You can see it's really easy, and I hope you make them. You can put parchment paper in between these once they're cooled and put them in your freezer so you don't have to eat them all at once. Okay, catch you on my next recipe.